Hi, welcome back to another Avaricium tutorial. So this is going to be part 11 of the series. This is going to be again about armies. So there's actually more mechanics, to armies, which we didn't quite get a chance to cover. So particularly, we're going to talk about force moving using armies. So how does this work? So I could basically, well, we already know that we could destroy pieces with armies, right, by stepping on them. But another thing that we could do is we can force move this piece. So we could move it by one in any direction, right? So for example here, and then take its place. So I could do that if I'm beside the piece. I could do that if I'm over here. So if I'm stepping all the way over here, and then I could move it in any direction. So for example here. Okay. So I go over here and then I force move. Okay. So what kind of pieces can I move? I can move basically anything. Basically anything. There is one exception that we'll get into later. So you could force move enemy pieces. You don't have to destroy them. You can destroy them. Yeah. You could force move other armies. Like that. Of course, you're frozen now. There's no guard beside you, but that's okay. You could force move, your own kind of pieces like this. That could be useful too sometimes. Okay. We have to talk about some, before and after rule ideas. So like, for example, here, if I want to force move this over here using this, I actually can't because, so what's the idea? The idea is that first you move this piece to where you want it to go, and then you try to move there, but you can't because you're frozen. Okay, so you have to be able to get to that spot. You have to be able to target that spot. In other words, you have to be able to not be frozen both before and after you kind of move this piece. Okay, so not allowed, but if I were to move it over here, that is allowed, yes. I guess I should also say one more thing. You can't switch positions with a piece. So like I can't do this. Can't do that. Just kind of because I want to move this first and then move that. It's one action to do all that, but you just can't switch places. Okay. Yeah. There's also kind of before and after mechanics here too. Like like I can't move this there because if I move it, then it's not touching me. That's not good. But actually, I could move it right here, right? Because if I move this here, I'm not actually frozen, right? Because this guard is guarding me, so I can't move this. That is legal. So it's legal to do something like this, but illegal to do something like that. It's not allowed. Can't do that. Okay, and yeah. Okay. So let's get to some puzzles, I guess. Now, okay, here we have our first puzzle. So you can take a moment and try to, figure this one out. Okay, so if you haven't gotten it yet, pause the video. I'm going to tell you that this only takes one action. Okay. So if you haven't gotten it in one action, try to get that. Otherwise, here's the solution. So the solution is you're just gonna force move this nobility like this. Okay, and then after you do that, both of these pieces are frozen. Right. There's other ideas. For example, so actually you can't destroy this in general, right? You can move it over here. And then do that, but that's two actions. This is really the only solution. Okay. and destroying this isn't good because this isn't frozen. Okay. So here's the next puzzle. If you haven't gotten it yet, you can pause the video. So this can be done in 2 actions. So if you got it in more than 2 actions, try again. What's the solution? The solution is to go hop over here. That takes 2 actions, and as you do that, you move that over here. Okay. So that's 2 actions, and both of these armies are now frozen. Okay. Good. Okay. Here we have actually another color of piece. This is a green army. So how could we use this? I'm not going to tell you too much. I'm going to let you figure it out, like what these interactions are, with these 2 other players. But the idea is that neither of them are on your side. You want to freeze both of them. So if you don't have the solution yet, go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to tell you that it takes 2 actions. That's it. Okay, so let's see now. What is the solution? Pause if you didn't get it in 2 actions, of course. But here's the solution. We're gonna move this nobility over here. Sorry, this army over here. So we're gonna force move this way. So you could have destroyed that army, right? But then what happens? Then this green army isn't frozen. So we just hop over here. And of course, there's a way to go over here and destroy this first, and then come over here. But it's a lot slower. So what's the idea? The idea is that these 2 players, they're not on friendly terms either, right? So they actually freeze each other. That's the little trick here, right? And here we have our 4th of our 5 puzzles. So if you haven't gotten it yet, you can pause the video. I'm going to tell you that this takes 2 actions to complete. Okay, only 2 actions. So if you got it in more than 2 actions, pause the video and try to get it in 2. Okay, what's the solution? Solution is you actually have to go and push your own army. So this army is gonna go and try to go here and push this army up here. That's the first action. This is all 1 action, right? So you could kind of do that, right? And then this second army goes over here. So you could actually have, 2 armies, kind of moving together, or like an army pushing something else, like, across the map. That's kind of a fun thing you could do. So 2 actions, there we go. Both of these nobilities over here are frozen. Okay, here we have our final puzzle. Okay, so if you haven't gotten it yet, you can pause the video. I'm going to tell you that this takes 4 actions to complete. So if you got it in more than 4 actions, then you pause the video. So here's the solution. So what do we have that could really do anything? Well, this is frozen. This is frozen. This is okay, but it's not really doing much. Can't do much by itself. But this army, you know what we're going to do with this army is actually uh, push, right? We're going to force move this mercenary to come over here like that. Okay. Now this nobility has a mercenary, so it could now has a kind of a attacking, destroying range of 1, which means it could actually force move this neutral guard, right? It's going to force move it over here. Second action, and now so it's kind of funny, right? Because we're you know keeping this unfrozen still, but really it's for the greater good because now this nobility isn't frozen and this army is not frozen. So we have 2 more actions left, and we could push this, anywhere over here. It's fine. You could freeze your own nobility if you want. Let's do that just for fun. uh, so that's 3, and then 4 uh, can simply be placing a rebel over here and freezing this army. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this puzzle set.